Hey, Coach Laura here, hanging out at the water cooler with my four-legged besties today. I was getting a breath of fresh air and thinking about leadership. You know, leadership is not so much what you do, it's more about who you're being. So today, in our leadership moment, I hope to provoke some thoughts about your leadership in life and business, because the world demands that we put our best foot forward every day. Now, business owners, as we know, are always in a balancing act of leadership between personal life and our business. Both are intertwined. And that being said, offers challenges. So I hope you'll take a moment here with me just to take a deep breath and let's talk about this. I'm going to kick off with a quote from Jeff Bezos. And he says, "Your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room." Ugh. Look, people are going to judge. That is just what we two-leggeds do. We're constantly formulating stories about ourselves, about others, and the world around us. We are masterful storytellers. Your company and you as the leader both have a brand. What is that brand promise? What is a brand? What is a personal brand? Look, I can sum that up. One sentence. Your brand is the promise of the experience that others can come to expect. Now, a lot of people think the logo is the brand, and the logo is not the brand. Your logo is informed by your brand. Your brand is simply the promise of the experience that others can expect. So the question is, what story are people telling about you and your company right now? Remember, you have the story about the promise that is told. And then secondly, you have the story about the actual performance or behaviors of you and your company. So what experience can people expect to have in your presence or in the culture you build in your company? You know, the stories created by others impacts your ability to lead. And it's not so much what you say, because people remember how they felt, not what you said. So what story gets into the room before you do? Remember, people perform based off of that story. Now, what do I mean? Well, I love what Blaine Bartlett says in his Leadership Mindset Weekly. People will give you what they perceive you're willing to settle for, not what you expect. Oh. I'll say that again. People will give you what they perceive you are willing to settle for, not what you expect. So what does that mean? That means you have to be crystal clear about your non-negotiables, your boundaries in all that you do and request, because this will set the performance levels for you and for others. So what is your brand promise as a leader? What can people in your life always count on receiving from you? What are your non-negotiables? Remember this, being consistent puts you in charge of the story being told about you and your company. So if you're ready to change some narratives out there, maybe you just want to get unstuck or just explore where you might step up your game, reach out. Let's have a virtual cup of coffee or a live cup of coffee, whatever it takes. And let's talk about your goals, what's happening, and how we might be able to accelerate that process. Now, as you all know, I often partner people with horses. There's no riding, everything's done on the ground, and you don't even have to know which end of a horse eats to have your breakthrough and build a strategy. But we would certainly like the opportunity to explore that with you and hear about your goals. All right, wishing you all many blessings and much abundance as we continue on through these turbulent times.